Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast, the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions from the worlds of TV, film, pop culture, news, sports, lifestyle, music, everything really depending on a guest. We talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. You'll recognize my guest from Cobra Kai, which just dropped in January 1st on Netflix. He plays Twig, part of the Vietnam backstory. Nick Marini is with us. Nick, welcome to Popternative.
Thank you for having me, man.
We expected insanity when season 3 was gonna drop on Netflix, and I guess that's what we got, right?
Yeah, for sure.
How's that been for you so far?
Oh, dude, it's been really awesome. It's been really fun. It's so cool to see the show, how much the fans love it.
Yeah.
You know, it's also funny because in doing sort of research for the role, I watched a lot of videos on YouTube of just, from Karate Kid 3.
Yeah.
And even just, I still have those videos on bookmarks. I'll just watch them every once in a while just to, keep fresh. And it's been awesome seeing they're like 7-year-old videos that no one had commented on in forever. And people are all like, even old videos, people are just soaking up the info. So it's been really cool.
But it's pretty cool. And your character is like a lot of characters. I mean, you were in a few episodes, you had some screen time here, but it's pretty awesome that how the love was kind of spread for all, everyone has kind of cool moments. Everyone has cool screen time. I mean, you were on a few episodes, part of the backstory, and people are loving Twig, right? Like the reception I see on social media is really cool.
It's been really humbling. It's been awesome.
Absolutely. We're going to get more into that. We'll get more to other projects, but specifically for you, man, in terms of storytelling, because that's what I call acting, writing, directing. You're all storytellers. When did Nick Marini decide that he wanted to be a storyteller?
Totally. So both my parents are in the theater and in the business. But so I sort of grew up in theaters backstage. This was my dad director. My mom was acting in something or teaching somewhere. And so I think for a long time, storytelling was like the family corner store. You know what I mean? It's I don't really know if I want to own the family corner store. And I sort of, in 10th grade, there was a whole thing what do you want to do? I thought I wanted to be a diplomat, went to DC, went to a think tank, hung out there for a day and was oh, no, that is not at all what I want to do. I was oh my goodness, desk job is not for me. And then I sort of took a look at the family corner store and realized that all my, I was super into Dungeons and Dragons and fantasy books and stuff, and storytelling was sort of my hobby anyway, as well as this life that I'd grown up and absorbed a lot more than I realized.
Absolutely.
So I think it was around then that I was just oh, you know what? All the signs are pointing towards this.
Absolutely. Now, I'm a big fan of Cobra Kai. I watched all the seasons. I interviewed a lot of cast members. It's one of those things where I like to go in fresh. I don't because that show is up there with the fans are incredible and amazing, but they're all about the theories and everything, and it's insane. And the trailer dropped and you couldn't get away with a little spoiler or a detail or a what if, and it was just pandemonium. So I tried to go in very fresh. So there were some rumblings about a John Kreese backstory that I looked into, but I didn't go into it. I didn't look into it that much, Nick. Okay, so I went in kind of fresh, but I knew there was something. And just you and Barrett and Jesse, Martin's son, who's been on the show,
crushed it.
Just did such a good job. What's that like, being part of a show that's not used we're not used to flashbacks in Cobra Kai, right?
Yeah, well, it was super interesting. It sort of felt like we were in our own little world.
Yeah.
I didn't meet really any of the main cast. I met William and Martin Cove, which was awesome, and they were super kind, and just sort of bringing us into the world. But yeah, it was we just got to play in our own little Vietnam world, and I didn't have any of this stuff before Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really awesome.
In terms of like the audition process, because I know a lot of it is very like vague or like did
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
in terms of what you could say, I mean, like were you told it was like a backstory? Like, did you know it was
No
Cobra
idea.
Kai? Like, what
So
was that about?
I auditioned. I think I first got called out for young Kreese, which I don't. I think obviously if Barrett and I like he looks and the work he does as young Kreese is like incredible.
So
So
good.
I had done that, and I think they just saw that I looked a lot more like Terry Silver than I looked like Martin Cove. Um, and so yeah, I the funny thing was when I auditioned, he was not originally called Twig. Originally it was Mayonnaise. And I couldn't, when they changed the name to Twig, I was like, you guys really think I'm scrawnier than I am pasty? Ow, that hurts. But I guess they were right.
But okay, so you did mention it. I was waiting for you to mention it, Silver. But
Yeah.
It's one of those things. So it happened twice. There were two swerves, right? Where everyone found out that Jesse Coe was going to be involved with the backstory of his dad. But like everyone, I guess, assumed that maybe he was going to play his dad, and like they set it up perfectly that it's not him, it's Barrett. And then it's kind of the same thing with your character, right?
Yeah.
Because there's someone else with you that has a ponytail that I think you call Ponytail.
Yeah, his nickname is Ponytail.
Yeah, and he's not Silver. So it's just mind blown.
Yeah. No, it even on the day there was like some people had trouble figuring out who was who.
Yeah, but does it blow your mind, like the theories and like the messages about everything? It was crazy.
It's been so fun looking at people's theories and also just seeing the love for Terry Silver. I mean, that was like, it's a little intimidating.
Yeah.
It's what I think was really fun is that he's such a big character, both in just sort of his reach in the universe, and also just he's crazy.
Yeah.
And so to get to go before all that and be like, what was this person's transformation? And in a lot of ways, the strike first, strike hard, no mercy, it's like with Kreese, we kind of see him take that mentality to karate, right? But he's homeless for a long period of his life, right? Like he's not he may be a winner in karate, but he's not always a winner in life.
Oh no.
And I think it's really interesting to think about Terry Silver as someone who maybe took that philosophy to its logical conclusion in sort of every way conceivable.
Yeah.
He's dumping nuclear waste wherever he wants, and making tons of money.
Yeah. That kind of origin, kind of that creeps in.
To find that, to get to just plant a very different seed.
Yeah.
Knowing that it will grow in that direction was really cool.
But dude, this show, like Cobra Kai, which you were on, you can make an argument it's like one of the biggest shows on the planet. Like it's insanely big.
It's so good.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah, it's
so fun, and it's
the blending, the new characters, the old characters is incredible.
Yeah, and it's like my brother is 12 years older, so for him, Karate Kid was like
that's the stuff. Yeah,
very contemporary to him. And so finally getting to tell him that I was on this, and like, it's just it's a new show, but it's the way in which it interacts and services the old material while still sort of, there are moments where like they even reference how sometimes out of date that material is now.
Yeah.
It's just the way they handle it is so, it's just, big props to the big three.
Absolutely. Another thing that I'm a really big fan of here, we are big fans of on Popternative, of course, is horror movies. We love horror movies. We think the horror genre is just exploding and doing a lot of amazing things, and we love it. And it's not out yet, but you did a horror film called Night Night. Shout out to Nikki Koss who directed it. You
Shout
did that
out.
movie. You did Night Night, and it's one
Yeah.
of those things. Like, what was that kind of like working on a horror film?
Oh, it was so fun. I was literally on the plane back from just a winter vacation in Australia, and got the call from my agents being like, "You got it," and I was like, "Cool." I'm about to be totally unreachable for like 12 hours because I'm going to be flying over the Atlantic.
The
So I
timing,
literally
eh?
landed. Yeah, I literally landed, had a day, and then went to go shoot. Um, and I had auditioned for a totally different character that I ended up playing, which was I ended up having a much larger role. So I sort of jumped in day one, was like, I've had about 24 hours to like check out this character.
But it's just like I get excited when like a horror movie or a trailer comes out. Like I get
Yeah.
pumped. Like I feel like a kid opening on Christmas morning when like there's like a new movie on like Amazon or Netflix or Shudder that I haven't seen before. Like it excites me. It's fun.
Yeah, I gotta channel my inner Cobra Kai when it comes to horror. I didn't even. I think when I tried to watch, like how in The Ring there's the movie within the movie.
Yeah.
I didn't get to that part of the film. That's like 15 minutes in. I was
What?
watching it, I was like, but I can't. I have trouble with horror for the same reason I have trouble with Liar Liar with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Whenever I know or think I know what's gonna happen and I can't do anything to stop it, it stresses me out so bad.
That movie has some good moments.
It's a brilliant movie, but you're constantly like, no, don't. Why would you? No. And the whole time, my heart is just so I can't. Horror films do me in.
What is it? What do you do? What's that line when he's in the bathroom? I'm kicking my ass. Do you mind? That line. But okay, I have a few coping mechanisms though. How I got out of horror,
Okay.
and I want to know. You could be like, it sounds great. I'm not, like, I still don't like them, but like, thanks for sharing. That's probably what's gonna happen. But two things. One, just kind of watching a lot of like the behind the scenes stuff, like on
Oh, yeah.
Blu-rays and stuff. They showed how you
Yeah.
make it. It's all food coloring. It's not real.
I always like to imagine just anytime you see people coming over a hill,
Yeah.
then on the other side of that hill are a bunch of tents and cars.
But but I'll tell you what the mechanism that helped me the most was like I would go see The Grudge in theaters and I'd be like scared out of my mind and I'd close my eyes. I'm like, it's okay. It's Sarah Michelle Gellar. It's Buffy. It's not real. It's Buffy. Or like I'll be watching the Amityville Horror and be like, no, it's Van Wilder. It's Ryan Reynolds. It's Van Wilder.
Like I grew up watching it's like I have no excuse to not think that, and yet I just get so sucked into it that I'm like, ah.
It is insane. I mean, obviously, like it hasn't even been a week since Cobra Kai has launched for season 3, but you have the love for the Twig fans, the Silver fans, and everything. And it's just gonna get bigger and better. I mean, it's just one of those cool things. But it's just like, the theories are gonna like not stop now for a while, or like the what's next. Like it's gonna be like your life now for a while.
What's so funny is because I also don't know anything about the future of the show, that I'll I have like Thomas Ian Griffith on my like Google alerts, just so I'm like, so I just see all these things. I'm like, oh, is there any? I have no idea. But I'm reading all the comments, waiting to find out a lot.
I have not seen since like Supernatural. Like I haven't seen a show with so many theories and like Facebook groups. Like it blows my mind.
Well, what's so fun is you can watch. They have all this material that they're taking from. So like as a fan, you know what characters are in the Karate Kid movies.
Yeah.
And what characters are in Cobra Kai, and you start to go like, oh, cool. Like how would these things, and it's endlessly fun.
it is fun to think about it, but it's funny too because during the peak of the pandemic, like March, April, like when it started, I literally just did Instagram lives like every day basically with like a lot of cool people. And I did about like a lot. Like I did about like 4 or 5, like 20 minutes here, right? And I did
Wow.
one with Gianni, who plays Dimitri on the show. And like I wasn't expecting, like it was insane. Like it
Oh,
was
yeah.
the most overwhelming live I've ever done. Because like the comments were just like there was some that were manageable, right? Where like you could look, right? This one was just like
Brrr.
and
That's
it was
awesome.
just kind of like, no, like I can't keep up, you know what I mean? So
Well, it's awesome to see a fan base that stoked on it.
absolutely. Well, we hope to see more Twig and young Silver in season
Me
4.
too.
You know, fingers crossed. Nick, thank you so much for coming on Popternative. I really enjoyed
Of
chatting with
course,
you.
man. Yeah, same. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me,
And
man.
hashtag save teenage bounty hunters. Sorry, I gotta say
Yes,
that.
hashtag save teenage bounty hunter.
I'm just saying, we gotta say that. We just gotta say
No,
that.
yes, we do.
We do. And where can people follow you on social media to keep update with everything?
I'm Nick A. Marini on Instagram.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's I got, like you mentioned, Night Night, and then I just solidified last night the final cut of a music video that I directed for a good friend of mine, Dopico. So
Amazing.
I've been trying to keep busy during this pandemic.
Amazing, man. Well, seriously, thank you so much for doing this. Congrats so far with the success of Cobra Kai season
Thank
3.
you.
It's gonna continue to get bigger and bigger, and it's not gonna stop. So
I
enjoy the
hope so.
wave. No, seriously, man, this was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Cobra Kai is streaming right now on Netflix. You can watch season 3. We can watch all 3 seasons. youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Nick Marini and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.